Welcome to the adventures of the Jupyter Notebook. What we're going to do today is that we are going to walk through the process of how to get a hold of the Jupyter Notebook. Now, this is a terminal on a Linux box. This is eventually what you will be seeing on the shared Jeremy server. So what I'm going to do is on my Linux box, I'm going to fire up Firefox here. And I'm going to put it into the background by using the ampersand. And then you can see it brings up my Firefox. I will go here and I want to show you the jmkll.org website. Whoops, it would help if I could spell it right. This org website is the story of the Jeremy Lab. And this is a really cool video. I recommend you watch it. And then for access, we use that and we do the same thing, but we put HTTPS as in secure in front of it. We hit enter and then we have this screen. Now this may look familiar because we've already been doing some of this stuff if you've walked through it, but now I'm giving you an assignment to do in the Jupyter Notebook. And what I'm going to do is use Tux and my classroom user that is set up kind of like what you guys have. So I have a fairly generic opening here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into notebooks, and then what I want you to do is file new. And you're going to create a new Jupyter notebook. So we can call this lab, I don't know, how about Jupyter Notebook? Notice the spelling. The spelling is this way on purpose. J-U for Julia, P-Y for Python, and R for R programming. So the Jupyter Notebook is a hat tip for all the other technologies that have come ahead of it. What I want you to do is write me some code. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to start with something kind of wide open. To start with, I would like to have you do at least a hello world that uses a for loop. That should be really simple for you folks. So say we're going to do print and then hello world, and then I'm going to do this 10 times and I hit shift enter. Now I want to insert a cell above and change this cell to markdown. This markdown is a lab that will be coming to you. It's going to come to all my classes this semester because it's such a thing that has really done some very interesting things to documentation. And this is a heading level 3. And notice how it makes it look all pretty. And here is my code. Now I'm basically done. I'm going to give you some criteria to make it a little more interesting. And then you hit save. What you're going to turn into me, or into Canvas, is a download as PDF. So you download your PDF file, and then you're going to submit that into Canvas, okay? And I'll just put it there in my downloads directory, and then I'll go take a look at it. And there it is. See how pretty that is? And you can do all sorts of wonderful documentation with the Jupyter Notebook. This lab is not meant to be difficult. This lab is to show you what you can do with the Jupyter Notebook. Some of the things that you can do is, why don't you take a look at a search on interesting Jupyter Notebooks. Copy a few of them, play with them, and see what you can come up with. What are you interested in? How about, I don't know, here's your different programming languages, where it's being used. Let's look at whimsical. Okay. Well, here we go. Game of life. So here's the game of life. Now notice, here's the Jupyter Notebook, but it's posted on this InB viewer. You can now download this, put it on the Jeremy box, and play with it, providing you have all the libraries. Otherwise, you can just run it right here and take a look at it. I think you can run it right here. Let's see if this works. No, it's a frozen copy. So you actually have to save it, okay? So you can execute it on the binder. That's kind of cool. That's new. So it's now taking that notebook that's been put out for other people to look at, and now other people can run your notebook. This is changing how things are actually being disseminated in the world of science, chemistry, physics, biology, coronavirus research. It's all being used in the Jupyter Notebook. So knowing how this tool works and what you can do with it is a lot, okay? So if it takes a long time and it's telling you everything it's doing, what this is doing is actually creating a temporary Docker container for this app. So it's building the Jupyter Notebook, loading what it needs, and then put the Jupyter Notebook saved file on top of the installed version of Jupyter, and then it's going to run it. And that's what this binder does. And when this binder first came out, it didn't have a lot of support across industry. And then all of a sudden people got a great idea about it, and then all of a sudden this massive funding came in, and companies like, I don't know, JP Morgan Chase and some of these big financial companies saying, hey, this is a great way for us to follow economic trends and other such things, okay? So I can actually click on show, and we can see what's going on here. And it's thinking, all right. And basically have some fun with it, okay? And there it is. Notebook has been converted. It's ready to go. It's not trusted, but disabled. Notice what this says. JavaScript disabled for netbook display. So here it is, and I can't run it. Oh yeah, I can. It's giving me an error. I get an error because it doesn't have NumPy. Well, NumPy is installed on the Jeremy box. So if you download this notebook, and where is that? Save it as the IPI file. Hit save. So I'm going to put that in download. There it is. Now I go back to my notebook on the Jeremy box. Notice I'm in my directory. I click upload. I go to my download and click on modifying. Click on Game of Life, open, upload, and there it is, upload, and not trusted. That's fine. So now what I do is I do Shift Enter for each code, okay? And well, I will tell you, it will get working. I'll make it work. So I'll see what happens. I'll make this work. So you can at least do this one. I'll see what's missing. So this will work. It's a lot of fun. This is a classic program that's been around for generations, literally generations. It's been from the dawn of computing. Conway's Game of Life talks about some very interesting things. So on that note, that's a very quick overview of playing with the Jupyter Notebook, and that's kind of what I want you to tinker with. More will be posted in Canvas.